What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I'm coming at you from the staircase. I know you don't want to see that boring green background all the time, so I wanted to shake things up a little bit. But today I'm going to give you guys 5 things that I've learned in my 20s. I could even say 5 things that I'm still actively learning in my 20s. And I do apologize in advance if I'm a bit scatterbrained. I have 5 points written down in my notes, but I didn't give any examples. I didn't really go into details. So I'm gonna, be going off the dome here. Number 1 would be keep in contact with your friends. Now, back then, I was kind of caught up in my head, kind of caught up in my own spiritual journey, kind of taking what others were preaching to me about, you're gonna lose friends on this journey, you're gonna start to outgrow people, you're gonna start to put yourself first instead of other people around you. And that's all good in theory, but that has to come with a balance, especially when you're dealing with, friends that you've grown up with your whole entire life. Like I said, I was coming from a place of just kind of wanting to be alone and kind of expecting people to reach out to me. But as I'm getting older, I realized that you got to make the effort too. You got to, want to reach out to that person as well. They can't just always reach out to you. They can't always just check up on you because they're going to feel exactly how you feel, like that they don't matter. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say that keeping in contact with your friends, especially close childhood friends, check up on them, whether it's sending them a meme, whether it's just calling them up, sending them a text. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of my buddies that I grew up with in my childhood, and I'll post something in there, or an Instagram group chat I'm with the same group of friends. I'll send a meme, they'll send memes. Like, keep in contact with your friends, man, because we all get so caught up in our own journeys. We all get caught up in jobs and school and all that stuff. But it's good to check up on somebody once in a while. It's good to have, especially those people, your childhood friends, to see how you've changed, to see the progress that you've been making. And maybe they could, reach out to you and be like, hey, like, I'm proud of you, you're doing good. Or they could reach out to you and be like, yo, dude, like, what are you doing? You're not really doing anything with your life. You're not really taking any steps to better yourselves. You're still the same person. You're not really making any progress. So I feel like it's very important to keep in contact with them, not only so that you can have that connection, but so that they can see within you the type of progress you made, whether it's good progress, whether it's bad progress, and you can kind of take away, take their opinion and use it and apply it. And, kind of like a compare and contrast to where you are today to where you were back then. I also feel like it's important to keep up with your friends because that's all we have is family and friends. At the end of the day, like, there's going to be a lot of people in your life that are going to try to come in and that don't really know you for who you truly are. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to sway you in a different direction or to try to get you to do things that you don't usually do. And because they don't know you, they don't know who you actually are. They don't know how you were when you were a child, when you were in elementary school, middle school, high school. But those friends, those childhood friends, they know you. They know who you are. They know what you're about. They know your ins and outs, maybe not to the fullest extent, but enough to be able to say, like I said, give you some tips, give you some pointers, be like, yo, you're doing good, or yo, you're starting to change a little bit, So I guess this is more so keep in contact with your childhood friends. Don't let life, take you away from them. And again, it's all about balance. I'm not saying be up their ass 24/7 because we all have our own lives to live, but check up on them every once in a while, Number 2, I would say ask and you shall receive. Now, this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. this is something I'm still actively learning today. Ask and you shall receive. I've always been the type of person to, work off the sweat of my brow, just keep at it, keep doing it, keep working, and eventually things will be gifted to you. I'm trying to think how I want to say that because I don't want to make it sound like I'm just being given these things, but you're earning those things, you know what I mean? But that's good and it works. But sometimes there's a point where you have to step in and actually ask for these things. Give you an example. Work. I am a really hard worker. I like to think so. Other people might not agree, but I'd like to think myself as a hard worker. That's what I meant to say. I'd like to think myself as somebody who, shows up, does what they need to do, gets everything done, pretty proactive. Whenever somebody asks, whenever the manager asks to pick up a shift, I'll take it. Don't call off. Don't say no. Don't complain. That's a big one. I don't ever complain. But sometimes when you do that, you'll kind of be pigeonholed there. Whether it's, intentionally, whether it's unintentionally, sometimes you'll be held in that box because, like I said, you're not complaining and you're doing the work 100% to your best of your ability. So they're going to be like, all right, he's comfortable there. You know what I mean? But like I said, it comes to a point where you have to speak up and be like, yo, I want to move up. I want to do something better. I want to make more money. I want a promotion. I want this, that, and the third. Ask and you shall receive. Like I said, it's something I'm still learning, not only with jobs, but with talking to women too, because sometimes I'll find myself in the past talking to women, things go good, but I fail to take it to the next level because I don't know how to ask to hang out, to go on a date, those type of things. I just kind of expect through my actions that it'll eventually get there. You know what I mean? So similar to what I said in the first one, there's a balance to this. You know what I mean? You don't want to overstep your boundaries and, ask for things that you don't necessarily deserve. You don't want to be so, I don't want to say, what's the word? Not nitpicky, but so needy. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that are at work that, I look at this one kid, for an example, he just got there and he's already talking about serving. You know what I mean? So there's a thin line. There's you got to find a balance. You got to do your work to the best of your ability. You got to do you. But at the same time, you have to know when the right time is to ask for that said promotion or ask that girl to take things a step further. So that's definitely a big thing that I'm still actively learning in my 20s, is because I'm just not a guy to really ask for things. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I just don't want to sound like I'm needy. I don't want to sound like I just don't want to sound needy, to put it simply. I've always believed that through my hard work, things will be earned. But like I said, there comes a point where you need to ask for those things. So we'll keep it moving. Number 3, the third thing that I'm learning in my 20s that I've learned is don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. This is a big one that kind of hit me. That was kind of a reality check that kind of, caught me by surprise. Rude awakening, that's the word I'm looking for. As you guys know, on this channel, I've reached a pretty good point in my channel, I would say, where I was posting shorts, I was posting videos, would probably get around a couple hundred views on my videos. My shorts were doing very well. I was getting like thousands of views on my shorts, and I was seeing a big increase in my subscriber count, in my views, all that stuff, engagement, whatever the case may be, watch time, all that stuff. And then I had applied for the AdSense, and I was making money there for a second, but eventually they, took away my AdSense because I was making too much content. I was reusing a lot of content, and they took it away. And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of beat me up a little bit. That kind of discouraged me, because I remember talking to my mom too, and she was like, maybe this just isn't for you. And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, damn, like, she might be right. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be pursuing this as much as I do. But like I said, it was me just getting comfortable. It was me getting comfortable with reusing that content. It was me getting comfortable with seeing that amount of subscribers and saying to myself, maybe I can take my foot off the gas a little bit. But that would come back to bite me in the ass. Now I'm paying the price for it. Now I got to work myself back up to where I was, which is fine. I feel like if I can do this, I can do anything. I think this will only raise my confidence as a man, as a content creator, if I am able to bounce back from this. But that's a big one, getting too comfortable. Because I do feel like I was comfortable at a point. I wasn't going to the gym as much. I wasn't posting as much. I was just kind of letting life pass me by, smoking all the time, you know what I mean? So it's very important not to get too comfortable. And I don't feel like I am right now. I feel like I'm back on the grind. I'm like 40 days sober, going to the gym every morning, trying to pump out content to you guys. So I'm definitely back in that mode again. But 2 years ago, nah, I couldn't say I was. I was definitely comfortable. I was definitely just willing to accept defeat. And that's not okay, because this is something that I heard Saquon Barkley say in his documentary. He was talking about how his pops told him that if you quit at one thing in life, you're going to quit at everything in your life. You're going to be a quitter for the rest of your life. And that really resonates with me, because it's true. If you quit at one thing, you won't have the confidence to keep going with anything else. You're going to quit everything else, So that's definitely number 3. Number 4 would be utilize your family. Talk to your family. Like, ask for advice. There would be a lot of times in the past where I'd kind of shy away from talking to my family, to shy away from asking for help or asking for advice. But that's what they're there for, because they live this life just like you. They've experienced all the same things that you have. They were here on this earth longer than you have, So a lot of the stuff that you may be going through in your 20s, they went through in their 20s, you know what I mean? And you don't know that in the moment, because you think that, you're a know-it-all. You think that, you have all the answers, but truly you don't. I don't. I can't say I do. So for me, I've been trying to make a conscious effort to just utilize the people around me. Talk to my dad, ask him for advice. Talk to my mom, call her up. Even if it's something little, like I remember calling her and being like, yo, like I was at the grocery store. Some guy was asking me to buy him water. What do I do? What should I do? Did I do the right thing? Even if it's little things like that, like ask for help, man. That's what they're there for. I don't want to say use them, because that term use kind of sounds negative, but use them, literally use them, but in a positive sense, you know what I mean? So that would definitely be number 4. I'm trying to make these, short, sweet, to the point, because I'm going to be here like for 20 minutes if I'm going into full detail. But the 5th and final thing would be, it's never too late to learn something new. Now, I feel like a lot of times when we're in our 20s, some of us may think it's over. Some of us may think our time's running out. Some of us may think that, I can't start this new thing because I'm old now. I don't have experience of doing it when I was younger. I don't think that I can learn it now because I wasn't learning it when I was younger. And I'm here to tell you, man, like, it's never too late. For me, one of those things that I've been learning recently, I can't say recently, but within the past year, because recently I've been more focused on this, but learning how to play guitar. Learning how to play guitar, that's something that I've been learning this past year. And initially going into it, I thought, man, I'm going to be at a big disadvantage here. I'm not going to be able to learn this as much because I wasn't playing guitar when I was younger. I wasn't learning this stuff when I was younger, but it's never too late, man. Like, you can learn these things probably way more than you were when you were younger because you have, your brain's fully developed. You have experiences. You can soak up knowledge more. You can understand things better, So don't put a cap to the amount of knowledge you can learn. Don't say that you can't learn something because you're old. Like, it's never too late, man. There's plenty of people out there that, maybe starting a new hobby at like 25, or they might be training to be a fighter or like an MMA wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, it's never too late. There's so much time that we have. The 20s, yes, is the best time to utilize that time because those are our prime years. And once you get into your 30s, your body's going to start aching. You're going to get tired more. But when you're in your 20s, man, it's not over. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that it's too late. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, I have to settle for this job because I didn't take the time when I was 18, 19 to learn these said things. Like, learn it. Learn it through and through, inside and out. Try it. Do the best you can. And just keep going at it. You know what I mean? That's a big one for me because I thought for myself, like I said, when I was playing guitar, I'm like, man, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I could play it. I don't know if I can really learn anything from this because I had this assumption that I needed to learn it when I was younger in order to be able to play it. But like I said, you're older. You can probably learn it better than you were when you were a kid. So why not go after it? So I think that pretty much wraps up this video. I think I gave you guys I did give you guys my 5 reasons. I think I gave you some good examples. I think I've went pretty good into detail about those 5. So yeah, I'm gonna end it at that. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys watching this. Appreciate you guys commenting, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say. Nah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Peace, love, positivity. Love y'all. Take care of yourself. Peace.